Hello and welcome back. This is Grillenheimer. Now, this is more of now that we've gone through waves 1 through 4, this is more of a how-to video more than anything. And what we have here are two teams of two. You want your team to have 25 stars. Now, I'm not talking about wave 5 because there's a few star cards in wave 5 that can give you more stars to play with. And what I was showing there is that, this isn't magic, that, 25 stars is the limit for right now. You start that Starscream is 11, the Thundercracker is 9, so they equal 20. The Autobots on the right also equal 20. In what I did, the decks I'll be using for this game have more than 40 cards. But I have a total of 5 stars in with the decks. So that's what I've been doing recently, is pitting two teams of 20 against each other, actually. And originally, from wave 1, you would tap and attack and tap and attack until, somebody was knocked out and then somebody won. Of course, then, we go on to like wave 2, and they added the combiner aspect where you're trying to get whether your combiners are knocked out or not, they're still viable, and you're still just trying to get them all into bot mode to combine. Once you have the Enigma and everybody in bot mode, like these guys here. So, and that was the gist of wave 2, and it worked okay. There's maybe some flaws still in it, but they're really fun characters to play with. Then around wave 3 and wave 4, they actually added the microbots. I'm trying not to say mini kinds, but like the microbots and battle masters. We can't say target masters because battle masters are not just guns. They're guns. They can be helmets. They can be armor. And I'm showing some of these microbots and battle masters here. And I could actually add them in, as long as they're 5 stars, to one of these two groups here, And then by wave, once we added the Battle Masters, instead of now just trying to beat your other opponents, you now want your little guys to be knocked out so you can put them on usable as an upgrade on another weapon. As a weapon or upgrade on another character. And then we have your Titan characters like Triptychon, Metroplex, where they started the gimmick to where you can have characters underneath them, and you to deploy them in different ways by either flipping or by using action cards to get them out. Here's a lot of most of the microbots and battle masters, etc. And then before you really want to start your game is you need a deck. A deck of at least 40 cards. Those two decks that I had in my hand were actually about 45 each, and they're not the decks I'm going to be using. You really need to watch your star count. It's basically the way they spaced them out, the way Wizards of the Coast did is easy to read them and count them in fives. Like I said, I could add some 4 or 5 star characters to this. Or even these guys from like wave 1. And I think that's the Flame War promo there. To where you could, and that Flame War has been very popular. I think she's still a little viable, even after over a year now. She's still popular. But, we're going to just, for this upcoming game, for the sake of kind of teaching the game, we're just going to use 2 characters. Yeah, and and then here's actually one of the decks I'm going to be using, and if I put a 5-star in there, I could just simply take out the star cards I have in there, because these decks have more than 40 cards in them. Actually, for the team on the left, the Decepticons, I believe their total is actually 48. The Autobots on the right with Springer and Ratchet, Specialist Ratchet, are actually about 49. So if I wanted to add a 5-star character, I could. I could simply take out the star cards, and I would still be over the 40 minimum. What I understand, that a lot of people that do play the game like having the minimum of 40 to have the highest percentage of drawing the cards you want. So Oh, and then I was kind of doing it. I don't have any Wave 5 cards yet. And then we have the triple changers as well. You have 2 alt modes, and then you unfold to your bot mode. And for the sake of this, I just pulled him out of his top loader. And, you know, the Wave 5 for the Titan Masters and the Titans are really neat. You know, once your Titan is knocked out, then the Titan Master, the head, comes out, and you can play him at last minute as a last-ditch effort. Now, I'm just doing the roll here for these guys, and it's the Decepticons have the high number, so they are going to go first. But before we really get into the game, we're going to go through a few basics. Basically, and that is the battle cards. Yes, that was an orb, I think. I don't know why. So, on with the battle cards. Now, first you want orange cards, which orange means to attack, and then you have your blue cards, and blue is your defense. And everything, for the most part, really does stack, except for white cards. White cards help you be able to flip 2 more cards in battle, whether you're attacking or defending. Of course, these are mainly green cards. Green cards you swap for cards that you have, 1 card you have in your hand for those that you have flipped. And we have a few battle cards that are also blank, such as that one. And then you do want to end up having a bit of, we got a lot of mixed cards now, and even wedge formation. And some other ones, newer ones that are like that have triplicate colors. And you're going to need a deck. And you need to build your own deck, because there's very few decks you can actually build. So, and that was actually a hairband on that one instead of a rubber band. And of course, you're going to need dice or markers or something to be able to keep up with your health. And of course, this is a homemade character, but check my other videos for that. This is not for these guys right here. So, without further ado, of course, you got your orange for attack, your blue for defense, and actions and on the top, upgrades are on the bottom. And then we have also some battle cards where for like traits, to accentuate traits based on your characters, to help you build your deck with their strengths in mind, to try to really defeat your opponent. Now, on to the game. Now, we said the Decepticons were going to start first. Unfortunately, you were going to see the top of my head a lot. I came close to not doing this, and I'm thinking, well, I really hate not to. And the first turn you do, the first person that goes draws 4 cards. Or you really, each draws 3, but then the player that goes first will draw a card. Well, I already have, since I have that specialist Ratchet on the right side, I drew 3 cards, and I had the medic card on the bottom of the deck, so I pulled it out. So the team on the right does start with also 4 cards. I'm so sorry about my bald spot. So what we're doing here is, I believe I flipped Starscream, tapped Starscream, and we're attacking Ratchet because he has 0 defense. And he does get hit for attack right there. Draw a card for the team on the right. Please, there we go. I think I drew 4-wheel drive, which these decks are pretty random. I wasn't really trying to, maybe I should have tried to actually make a deck for the sake of teaching, and I really didn't do that. So I apologize in that regard. But 4-wheel drive can be used on both Springer and Ratchet, by the way, as long as they are in truck mode. And that is alt mode 1 for Springer, if I remember correctly. And what we're going to do is Springer's gimmick, and you always follow the abilities on their cards. Depending on what side they are on, or if they are flipping abilities, you can have both. Or you can have stagnant abilities, as I like to call them, that also stack, like bold, tough, plan. And so what we did here is we flipped Springer to alt mode 2. We're attacking. We have to attack Starscream, because Starscream is the only one that is in defending or tapped. You can only attack, unless otherwise specified, attack an opponent that is already tapped. If they are not tapped or they are both tapped, you can choose who you want to attack, as long as they are not in stealth. If they have a stealth ability or a card with stealth on it. Well, normally that means untapped, excuse me. If they are tapped, then it can be either one as long as they are both tapped. So Springer is attacking Starscream. Oh, that's right. And I did use the star card, Bolt of Lightning, and put 3 attack on Thundercracker, because I want to go ahead and, okay, when you use a card for like non-attack damage, it's best to try to, you can choose who, you can put it on either one, really. It doesn't have to be tapped or untapped, but I like putting it on the untapped character because you're not attacking them. It gives you cheap damage on them, but then you're attacking the tapped character. Unless you just want to build it up and really want to try to knock them out, which is the whole point anyway. So what we've done here is Thundercracker behind my bald spot. We flipped him and tapped him. And he has a neat ability where if you flip a black pip card, then you can move damage from him or another plane, I believe, to the enemy. But don't think that ever really happens in this game. Or maybe it's the ability where if you, how many black pips you flip, then your opponent has to scrap that many cards out of their hand. Depending on what side he's on, if I remember correctly. It is the Autobot side again, and I believe, so I picked up Springer. And I really, like I said, I did not tailor this deck for these characters, but it actually worked out. So we do get to see Springer. He is a common Wave 4 character. He's very easy to use. He's very easy to use, and so I actually pull off a lot of his abilities during this game. And I'm going ahead and using 4-wheel drive on Ratchet in his truck mode and tapped him, and I believe he's attacking Thundercracker, who didn't flip any blue, because when you're defending, you want the blue, you want some tough. Of course, right as of now, there's a few cards or very few characters that can actually dodge Pierce. We have one or two. I think there is I want to say Nightbird or a mercenary that actually has some Pierce blocking abilities. There's maybe a character or two now in Wave 5 that might be able to do the same thing. Drawing a card for the team on the left, and then that was the untap phase also. Everybody untapped. Drew a card for the left side. Kind of looking at what I got. I just wish I had a better setup. I almost did not do this to put this out, thinking, you see my head more than the cards. But let's go ahead and do this anyway. So, fortunately, you can see the hairs on my head better than the cards in the background, which are now all blurry. And then I realized I did a reveal ability with the deck on the left, and it was the Ultra Magnus armor, which is a 2-star armor. Well, I meant to have that deck for the Autobots, not the Decepticons. But, c'est la vie. That's in kind of the order of things. Here's you start your turn, you draw a card. You can play an action, you can play an upgrade, you can flip a character, and then you attack. And then you flip your cards for attack. But after you call who your opponent, who you are attacking. And you kind of have to do them in that order. Your actions and upgrades and flipping can be in any order, really. Those 3 parts of it to get the best of the ability, the best of the advantage. which can be really fun. And that's part of the fun of this game, is not just winning, but some of the triggers. Then there is a secret action as well. I pulled it out. It doesn't get, I think it does actually work, but I almost forget it. We'll keep watching and see what happens here. And, you know, we got a weapon on Starscream, and we have blast armor upgrade on Thundercracker there. That's right. And we swapped when you flip a green pipped card in your battle and you want it, you have to give up, you have to scrap a card in your hand to be able to get the flipped green card in your hand. And in the order of that is whoever attacked gets to do it first. Then the defender gets to do theirs if they flipped a green card. So there is somewhat of an order to it. And then I get a little mixed up because of the green pip swap. And all of a sudden, I think the Autobots, it's their turn, but Starscream never attacked. And so I realize this, and I start to put everything back, but not before I actually start to attack with Ratchet. And after all the cards that I've done, and I realize, oops, well, maybe it's here. No, I remember I did flip for Springer to attack Starscream, but Starscream never attacks. So, and this was the second run that I did of this. And I don't exactly put everything back. This is, I think I'm realizing, wait a minute. Starscream. I didn't think Starscream attacked. Oh well. Oh well. Maybe he did. I was talking a second ago, and maybe I was talking a little too much. But I thought I remember trying to redact a certain move at one point. I did do a video before this one, and I was making all sorts of mistakes, and I'm thinking I can't show this. So, and it's the Decepticons' turn again now. I actually put on, I think it was Hijack, which is a secret action. When you play a secret action, you normally play it upside down. And you can't see what I'm doing because my build spot's in the way. And you don't have to, but the way I read the rules is that if you can flip, flip. So I flip somebody every turn. And if there's only one character left on the field, I am going to flip them whether I want to or not. Unless I happen to have someone in my KO pile. You know, flipping them in the KO is kind of silly unless they have a KO ability. Say like the Sentinels from Wave 2. Or somewhere along those lines. Of course, if you have an upgrade character that gets knocked out, you put them in your KO pile also. They are not scrapped because we do have some cards like Quartermaster that can bring them back into play. And I completely missed that attack of Starscream's too. I don't know what it is. No, Thundercracker. Starscream's knocked out. Okay, I see that's right. He went from 5 to 8. Or 3 to 8 right there. Or Springer did. My blasted head's in the way, people. I'm so sorry. Only about 10 minutes left here, and I only do the one game, and did I flip anybody? I see a tapped Ratchet. And I put on, okay, that is a stealth card. And I am flipping Springer. I'm drawing cards and drawing cards. And if I had a player 2, they would be jumping up and down and yelling at me, dude, I have hijacked. You drew more than one card. I'm supposed to draw a card. So what I do is I give up the secret action that I drew and draw another card for player 2. And then I end up going ahead and attacking. So that was the best way I kind of rectify this playing by myself. Didn't look like I attacked. Yeah, at the 2020 mark, I untapped everybody and started the turn for the Autobots, and I never attack. Oh my goodness, because I got so wrapped up in all the abilities over there and what I was doing, and then trying to pay attention to the secret action. So this should have played out differently. That's funny. So the Autobots should have won this game because the Decepticons do, because they ended up accidentally getting more attacks in. Well, if Starscream really did miss an attack, maybe this will make up for it. Oh my goodness. That's just funny. This has happened to me before. I haven't recorded a game in a while like this. Yeah, I'm really trying to keep my head out of the shot, and it's just wasn't easy to do it. But yeah, if I can get a better angle with my camera, which is not easy to do, it's just a camera phone. Nothing special, nothing fancy. That's why you can see every piece of crumb and mess in that floor. Yes, I'm on my floor. Should be playing on a table, I guess. But I do have an old video where I while I'm drawing some of my homemade characters or coloring them or something, and I'm actually talking a lot about myself, and I'm actually go into why I do kind of sit on the floor a lot. I probably shouldn't be, but I had a hip operation back when I was like 10, like over 30 years ago. So if that lets you know anything about myself. Inferno Breath, and I go ahead. Now, Inferno Breath, you have to tap a character, and it gives automatic 10 damage to another character. But it means you also cannot attack with the character the card tapped, because you did not tap the character. So I'm actually able to tap Springer and then attack Thundercracker. That's kind of how Inferno Breath works. And the double pips are wonderful. If you have the chance to buy some Wave 1 boosters or box, I advise it, because there's still some pretty good cards in there. Without star counts. And I've got the Pocket Processor, and I think I'm swapping it for, yeah, I couldn't tell what card that was, but I swap it. I don't even think I don't even use it, because we're almost done here. The game is almost over. And instead of using dice, which I normally use dice, but for the sake of the video, I actually pulled out my old homemade markers, as you can kind of see lying around a little bit, and I got the 5 on the far left and that 3 on the upper far left for angle, to help me know about where my playing field was through the camera. So if you're wondering why that 3 and the 5 and the 3-1 are there, that's kind of why, to let me know where about my edge was. But yeah, I actually have Thundercracker decked out. I forgot what kind of card I played. And the Gyro Blaster there keeps you and your opponent, or whoever you're attacking or defending with, that character at least, from being able to draw more than one card. I mean, 2 cards during battle, excuse me. So, he does have bold. His weapon upgrade does have bold, but because of the Gyro Blaster, I can only do 2 cards. And so, even my defense, I believe I'm attacking Springer here, can only flip 2 cards in defense. Thinking about swapping a green card, but it's getting so close to the end, I don't even think I do it. There you go. And I almost pull out, yeah, and then I realize, oh, Gyro Blaster. So that's all I can do. Even though I flipped a white pip for Springer, it's nullified by that utility upgrade. So you really have to watch the wording of your abilities, the wordings of your upgrades. And that's what makes it a challenge when doing this with playing solo, because there's a lot to keep up with. And even if you watch the guys at Wreck and Rule with even 2 players playing the way you're supposed to, they have a lot of markers to keep up with all the triggers like this to be able to, for reminders, so you're not forgetting stuff. You don't keep up with all your abilities, your upgrades, your advantages, your disadvantages. You're going to miss something, and it could cost you the game. And that's a 10 and a 4. So Springer is hurt by 14, but he does have that utility minor medic kit, which gives him +2 health. So he actually has, I believe, 2 health left because of the utility upgrade card. And then you have Erratic Lightning as his weapon, which gives you +3 for attack, which is good, but it takes your defense down by 1. And I'm counting up my damage, and that's the game. The Autobots do win. I thought the Decepticons did. I guess not. Maybe I played a secondary game after I played. But thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time, and flip out.